Hi everybody, Tyler Wilde here. I'm going to talk to you today about why colorblind modes are so important in games which use any kind of color coding. So we're looking at the new SimCity, and this overlay shows us our zoning. There's green residential, blue commercial, and yellow industrial. I talked to creative director Ocean Quigley recently about this, and he was kind enough to implement some filters so that I could show you what the game looks like to people with color blindness and how the filters help. So here's a simulation of what you see if you lack green color receptors. And we can still see the blue commercial zones, but the residential and industrial zone colors are super hard to tell apart. And though you could look down in there and look at the building type in there, I think we take for granted how important color coding is when we need to quickly digest information and make decisions. Now we're looking at SimCity's happiness overlay, which uses even more subtle color coding, shades of green, which of course doesn't bode well for colorblind players. But there's a solution, and it's called daltonizing, which is color correction for colorblindness. These are the filters you're seeing, and they're going to help out a pretty decent chunk of the population. And that's about 6% of men. So here we are back in the zoning overlay, and we're colorblind, but now it's been filtered. It isn't perfect, and it never will be, but it does help. At least now the industrial and residential zones have a slight shade variation and can be distinguished. Now, my last question for Ocean was, how hard was this to do? Because a lot of games do this, include colorblind modes, but not every game does. So I wanted to know, is this a challenge to implement? And he told me that pretty much every modern engine includes color grading support, so you can put filters in it, and it shouldn't be a huge challenge. It took him a bit of research, a little bit of time, but it's not a big burden on development. Now, Ocean sort of came to do this by happy accident, the QA lead being colorblind. But, going forward, I expect he will continue to make sure this is implemented in future games he works on. And I hope every developer does. As someone who personally has a color vision deficiency, mine is not as bad as the full color blindness examples I showed you here, but it can still cause problems. On the happiness overlays, for example, those shades are far too subtle for me to pick out. So please, make your games more accessible. It's not too hard. A lot of developers do this, like I said, and I want to thank them as well, not just Ocean and SimCity, but it's the most recent topical example of a game that really needed a colorblind mode and got one. And thanks so much for watching. I hope this was interesting, enlightening. It would be lovely of you to subscribe to the PC Gamer YouTube channel. We'll have lots more videos like this every week. So come back and keep watching.